Hey, good morning. If you have one yoga block, we'll use that for like a little moment in the beginning for some engagement. It can be anywhere. And then for our practice this week, in terms of physicality, we are leaning into some like shoulder engagement, upper back, just like back body integration, and hamstring length. I had a request for that from someone. And so we'll move in the direction of forearm stand. That's not really on the agenda, but we'll be doing a lot of progressions that move us that way, and then the activations and openings that can help us move in that direction as well. And then in terms of heart space intention, and something to contemplate as we move across our mats and to take with us, yes, Dolphin. We're doing lots of Dolphin. And I wanted to revisit something that I feel like maybe I talk about a lot, but sometimes it takes time for these concepts to like really land in the heart. And then also I think we all need reminders of these things. But this idea of placing our enoughness outside of ourselves, the marker of what makes us enough as some achievement or some title. It's so easy for us to place our worth out here. And over time, the process of acknowledging that our worth comes from within, I think, is this missing piece of the puzzle to our overall well-being, but that inner well-being where we can move through the world and know that like we're enough without needing to be able to do a forearm stand or a side crow. And I think that reminder is one that I know myself I need a lot to return to this idea of my worth isn't going to be determined by my success within my job. In a certain extent, yeah, like our successes, our achievements, they're really important and they help us to grow. But if that's what we narrow ourselves down to, or what we're capable of in our physical body, right, all of those things will change over time. Nothing out here is permanent. But when we really, really hone in on our inner relationship with ourselves and this relationship with value and worth, I think that's where we see the most growth, the most benefit. So just being curious with it, like maybe that starting point today is when we move towards a specific shape in our yoga practice, like a peak pose, right? Does that dialogue, the inner dialogue, shift a little bit? Does that inner voice that says like, oh, if I can't do this, like what does that say about me, come up? And if it does, that's very normal, but can we start to work with that as a tool and give that maybe like, I'm not capable of this yet, or maybe in this lifetime, that's like a huge opportunity to be like, perfect. Then where is my value and worth? Oh, it's within. Yeah. So anyhow, there's so many layers to that and lifelong process, but just letting that be maybe at the center of the flow too. We're going to start in a child's pose this morning, if that feels okay. I know for some bodies that's a sticky place to begin. So if child's pose doesn't feel like an easeful landing spot, perhaps a seated meditation or maybe a belly down shavasana this morning. Go ahead and settle into either child's pose or a different shape that you'd prefer. And just take a moment to let your body drop down towards the earth. And feel yourself ease into the support beneath you, finding a sense of release into the earth and its sturdiness. Beginning from a point of letting go, of softening, of surrendering. Allowing any initial tension to release away from the body. Maybe noticing if, as we soften and release within the body, does it offer a little bit of ease to the deeper layers of heart and mind. And as you start the process of deepening your breath, just gradually drawing in a more expansive inhale. And a slower and steadier exhale. Also start to notice wherever your arms are in space, how the area around your shoulders feels. And for many humans, this is a sticky point. And so just drawing awareness to this space, noticing how the space of your shoulders feel. Maybe notice if that sensation changes along the length of your breath. Feeling the relationship between your inhale and any movement or sensation in your shoulders. Noticing if the quality of that sensation shifts as you exhale that breath out. Just for a few more rounds and watching that relationship between breath and body. Breath and sensation. And the movement of your breath. Maybe setting that intention of using the body as a tool and to remind us of the impermanence that is a pillar of what it is to be human. And using our practice as a reminder that our worthiness, our enoughness, our value comes from within. Noticing when we are tempted to, or just out of habit, place that value in something outside of ourselves, our achievements, our titles, our capabilities, the opinions or perspectives of others, whatever that might be for you, where you find that you place your value, your worth. And just bringing awareness, focus back to the space of your heart. And really using the intention, the mindfulness of our practice to deepen and develop that inner relationship. Let's take a nice big breath in through the nose. And then as you're ready, open mouth exhale, just let the breath sigh out. If it would feel good, perhaps one more like that, a deep inhale in. And a cleansing exhale to release. And when you feel ready to shift towards a tabletop, maybe eyes staying closed, maybe softly open your eyes to a gentle gaze. Just begin to shift towards all fours. And start to find some movement here. Beginning the process of exploration, noticing how your spine feels, how your hands feel on the earth, now that your shoulders are stacked maybe relatively over your wrists. And you can find your traditional cat-cow. Maybe you add in some forwards and backwards action. You can take things side to side, maybe circling through your rib cage, your hips, or shoulders over wrists, but just starting to feel and tune into how your body is doing this morning. And maybe just continuing on your own, especially if you found any interesting sensations, any sticky spots. Or if you want to join me, we'll inhale to a cow pose, finding that active lift of heart and tailbone to the sky. Pushing into the hands to pull the heart forward through and up. And as you exhale, root down and round your spine to a cat pose. Really think about drawing your shoulders out of your ears as you find an active tuck of your chin and tail, big push through your hands. And we'll start to find neutral through the spine. Keep your hips stacked over your knees. Moving to Anahatasana, we're going to walk our hands out in front of us. You can be on your palms or you can rise up to your fingertips, tenting your hands. And then dive either your forehead or your chest to the earth. So hips are high, heart is low, big active opening through the shoulders and the back body. So you feel that openness across your chest, diving down to the ground. Maybe press your palms or fingertips into the earth and take a big breath. And then from here, just bending your elbows enough so that your elbows land, your forearms land. We're going to start to slide forward into our belly down Shavasana. So go ahead and let your hips lower. For a second, just take your elbows wide, let your forehead rest to the backs of your hands. Breath into your belly. And then getting really strong through your lower body. Activate your glutes to press your pelvis down as your hips get heavy. Anchor through the tops of your feet. And then from this belly down Shavasana, we're going to start to inhale towards a low cobra with goddess arms. So peel your heart up off the earth. Draw your shoulder blades together, elbows pull back towards your rib cage. Staying for your exhale. Take an extra breath in. And breath out to release. Take a moment and we're going to repeat that same thing. Heavy hips, anchored feet. Inhale to your low cobra goddess arms. Feel the strength along your back body. Try to find neutral through your neck. Think about lifting more from the back of your skull, the back of your heart. Staying for exhale. One more breath in. Think about getting as long as you can. And from that length, you lift. And exhale to release. Okay, our last moment here is going to be our Sphinx pose. So just so we can blueprint this in our body, go ahead and rise up to your forearms. So your elbows are stacked directly beneath your shoulders. As you really root down strong through the entire length of your forearms, start by feeling this push down action as the energy to facilitate the lift of your crown. So crown of the head lifts up, and then think about dragging the earth towards you. And then rather than like compressing into the low back, though, as you pull the earth towards you, think about that as energy to draw your rib cage forward. Collarbones wide, shoulder blades drawing together. So the low back is strong, but we don't want it to feel crunchy. And just feeling all that energy traveling up the length of the back body as you open the front line. If you're feeling really good here and you wanted to take a moment to float your elbows into your seal, big breath in. And then exhale to lower to your belly down, Shavasana. Slide your hands back by your low ribs, elbows hugged in close, and engage your core as you press to return to a child's pose. Just for a moment, lengthening your hips back to your heels. Okay, from here, we're going to find our way into a seat. So you can sit on your shins. I feel like that's kind of like the easiest option as long as that feels okay for your knees. Otherwise, you could take a cross-legged seat. You're going to take your yoga block and just place it in front of you on your yoga mat so you can scoop it up with your forearms. Okay, so from here, go ahead and lean down, wedge your yoga block in between your forearms like so, and turn your palms away from your face so you have like this nice big number 11 in your arms. And then start to just hug really actively into that yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block, that's okay. You're thinking about just like energetically squeezing to the midline while keeping your elbows about shoulder width distance apart. Now with your elbows starting in line with your shoulders, you're going to start to inhale and lift that block up across an imaginary wall. So imagine you're like sliding the block up. It doesn't matter how high it goes. You want to keep your shoulders settled into your torso, not up in your ears. On your exhale, bring your elbows back in line with your shoulders. And then squeezing into your block with a breath in, begin to lengthen your arms forward. Try not to let the block drop. Pressing forward towards long. And exhale, bend back towards 90, continuing to squeeze that block. I'm going to go twice more. I'm going to rotate so you can see a different angle. So we inhale, squeeze, and lift that block up the imaginary wall. Hug, hug, hug to center. Squeeze into the block as you bring elbows in line with your shoulders. Inhale, push length forward through your arms, hugging into the block. And exhale, bend back to 90 as you squeeze the block. Last time, because I know this can be spicy, especially if a heavy cork block like me, we're going to inhale, slide up. Exhale, squeeze, lower. Inhale, lengthen, hug your block. And exhale, bend. Good, go ahead and release the block. Bring your fingertips to your shoulders and do a couple backward circles through your elbows and a couple forward circles. Okay, from here, just shift into a high plank so we can find our way back to downward facing dog. So take a moment to step through plank. Find a strong body, a strong breath in, and then exhale, downward facing. Take a moment to paddle through your feet and just notice how your down dog feels after that opening and engagement through your shoulders, your upper back. Give your hamstrings a moment to open. Can you let your head be heavy here? Be an active reach of the crown of your head forward towards your fingertips. And feel your core drawing your hip creases further up and back. Imagine you could press your hips to stack over your heels. And when you're ready, take a wander to the top of your yoga mat until you arrive in your forward fold. Invite softness into your knees and melt your belly to your thighs, head heavy to the earth. Take a little shift forwards and backwards, just noticing again how the backs of your legs feel, how the soles of your feet feel across the earth. As you're ready, start to inhale to a halfway lift. Maybe hands come to your shin bones as you press length into your spine. Staying for your exhale, pressing into your feet, feel your core draw in. And let's do a shoulder shrug into airplane arms. Inhale, airplane Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, forward fold, let it go. Keeping your head, arms, and tailbone heavy. Front ribs draw in as you roll to rise all the way to stand. Letting your inhale draw you up. At the top, use an exhale to be moving through your goddess arm action. So big like elbow circle. That exhale guides that whole motion. And then breathe both hands to the sky. Urdhva Hastasana. You look up to the space between your hands. We'll exit a forward fold, so soften your knees and just take a little dive down to the earth. And then inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, just traditional this round. We'll exhale to our high plank, so find the rootedness of your hands, and step your feet to the back. Good. From your strong plank position, inhale to shift forward to your tippy toes. Knees up or down, we're going to slowly lower for 5. Press your elbows back, reach the crown of your head actively forward for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Untuck your toes, heavy legs. Inhale, low cobra. On your exhale, option to hover your hands. Press your elbows back and in towards each other, finding length and neutral through your neck. Take another inhale. And exhale to release. Setting up for our gecko pose, hands go wider than your yoga mat. Tent your fingertips to the earth, elbows to the sky. Start with the strength of your spine as you inhale to lift. Staying here, think about drawing your elbows back a little bit in space. On your exhale, if you want to push a little bit higher, feel free to use your hands to lift you taller. Think inhale, heart forward. Then we add our twist. On an exhale, reach your left shoulder towards the right side of your yoga mat. Twist and dip. And then breath in to rise through center. Exhale, second side. Right shoulder reaches towards the left side as you twist and dip. And then inhale up through center, continuing to pull your heart forward, dragging your fingertips back. And use the strength of your spine to lower down. Coming back into our Sphinx pose. Elbows stuck underneath your shoulders. Big energy down through your elbows, down through your forearms. And then tuck your toes as you take a breath in. And zip up into a forearm plank as you breathe out. And you can always be in your forearm plank with your knees on the ground. Just make sure your hips stay elevated in line with your spine. Okay, in your forearm plank, you take 2 more cycles of breath. Find the hug of your front hip bones towards your front ribs to help turn on your core. Glute strong, thighs strong. Take 1 more cycle of breath. Imagining your block between your forearms, between your biceps, the entire length of your arms hugging to the midline. When you're ready to release on an exhale, lower your hips to the earth, untuck your toes. Now think about really big engagement along your spine. Can you keep your chest lifted as you start to slide your hands back by your low ribs for low cobra? From low cobra, inhale, upward facing dog. Push the earth away, press the tops of your feet to float your thighs. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips go to the sky. Take a little pedal. Then we're going to start to build our flow. We'll come back to some of that engagement later. So with an in-breath, lift your right leg to the sky, 3-legged dog. Now keeping your right leg long, you can either flex your foot or point your toes, but keep your right leg long. Start to peel your right hip open towards the right. So think about turning the front of your right leg to the right side of the room. Then squeeze from your outer right glute to lift your leg nice and high. Pushing through your hands, squeeze the outer glute, take a breath in. Exhale, knee to nose. Drive your hands into the earth, cat spine. As you shift forward, 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 shoulders out of ears, thigh into your chest. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Shoulders out of ears, push the earth away as you shift forward. And then one more time, inhale, 3-legged dog. And exhale, knee towards nose. Good, inhale, 3-legged dog. On your exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. Rising to fingertips or hands to blocks, we're going to lengthen both legs for a hamstring stretch. Press down and forward through your right foot. Let energy travel up through the length of your right leg. And then take one slow breath. Okay, go ahead and bend into your front knee. As you bend into your front knee, gentle standing splits, lean into your right foot and lift your left leg towards the sky. Experiment, see how it feels with a square hip, and then with a little extra bend through your standing right leg, see how it feels to actively open your left hip and squeeze your left glute. Think about reaching so much through your left foot that you're kind of pulling your left thigh bone energetically out of the pelvis to create space and lifting from that left outer glute strength. Core is really active here. We're going to bend both of our knees and step towards our chair pose. So left foot will land, strong in your seat. Inhale, lift through heart and hands. Good. As you exhale, airplane your arms beside you. Perhaps a little shoulder shrug to open your collarbones and set your shoulders. And let's lean into our left foot as we flamingo right heel up and in. Okay, so just take a second. It's early. You're standing on one leg. Let your left ankle, your left foot, your left leg come online. As you breathe in, start to reach through an airplane pose. Big push through your standing left leg. Long from crown to right foot to fingertips. When you're ready, you're going to step into a high crescent lunge. You'll place your right tippy toes to the back of your yoga mat. Power through your right leg as you lift through heart and hands. Okay, we're going to add in an arm variation here. So, 1 second. In your high crescent, you're going to bend your left elbow and reach your left fingertips to the space between your shoulder blades. Then your right hand is going to go to your left elbow. So what this looks like from the front is so, from the back. Okay. So left fingertips are reaching the space between your shoulder blades, right hand on left elbow. Let your shoulders kind of soften down out of your ears. Find a little lift of your chin so your crown is tall. From here, you can think about pressing your ribcage forward and finding a slight tilt of your heart to the sky as your elbows draw back in space. Think about pulling your heart, your head forward and through that window as your elbows slide back. Okay, from here, let your arms melt down beside you. Interlace your hands behind you, right thumb goes on top of left. Start with bent elbows. You're going to take this, bind to your right hip pocket. So it's like reverse seatbelt. Use this to hug your right hip forward to square. Core is strong. Press your right elbow back and then pull your right elbow in towards your spine, towards your left elbow. Maybe your left ear falls to your left shoulder. Get a big stretch to the right side of your neck. Take a breath in and take a breath out. Good. Crown of the head comes upright. Your arms go behind you to release. And we'll windmill open through our warrior two right into our reverse triangle. Send your left leg long. Reach your left hand up to the sky. Nice big breath in. Exhale, gentle triangle pose. We're going to bump the hips back in space. Maybe for this first round, you bring left hand to left shin bone or a block. And you turn your heart open up to the sky, maybe looking towards your right fingertips. Good. Feeling the length through your inner left leg. With the breath in, reverse your warrior, bend into your left knee. Let that breath carry your left hand all the way up and overhead. And then windmill down into your high plank position. Take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale this round, it's chaturanga or downward facing dog. So maybe taking your chaturanga flow high to low plank. In breath to your up dog or your cobra. And then exhale to downward facing. And as you arrive in your down dog, take a moment, take a big breath in. And then open mouth, exhale to release. And we'll check out our second side before we start to build into this. So inhale, lift your left leg tall. Again, either flex or point your left foot, just finding energy through that long leg. Keeping your left leg long, rotate the front of your left leg, so the top of your left foot, left thigh, to the left, and squeeze from the outer left glute to lift your leg tall. Can you reach energy out through your left toes? Imagine you could create a little bit more length so your left leg became like 2 inches longer. Squeeze on the glute. Take a breath in. Now we exhale, knee to nose. Actively push down into your arms the whole time that you're shifting forward, shoulders out of ears. Inhale, three-legged. And twice more, exhale, shoulders out of ears as you shift forward, knee towards nose. One more time, inhale, lengthen up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. From your three-legged dog this next time, place your left foot forward to the top of your yoga mat. And then find your hamstring stretch, lengthen through your legs. Just notice how the second side feels. Give yourself a moment here. Feel free to kind of wiggle around. Notice what happens when you shift and adjust to the sensation through the back of your left leg. Big push down through the four corners of your left foot, down and forward. And take a breath. Okay, when you're ready for your next transition, you're going to start to bend into your front knee. Gentle standing split, so lean forward. Right leg reaches to the sky, continuing to open a left hamstring. An option to stay square, or maybe making sure you have some bend in your standing leg. You rotate your right hip open and squeeze from your outer right glute to lift your right leg nice and tall. Big breath in. Exhale, mindfully soften your knees. And use your core to step to chair pose, Utkatasana. Building it from the earth up once your feet are settled, hips nice and low and strong, root to reach Utkatasana on your inhale. We'll exhale to our airplane arms. Can we be intentional in the upper back engagement here, front ribs drawing in. You might even notice how here, as you pull your front ribs in, that means that your upper back has to work a little bit harder to keep your chest open. There's just a little bit of extra opposition there. Lean into your right foot and flamingo left heel up. Take a second to calibrate, find your breath. And as you're ready, begin to push towards your airplane pose. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to find some ease amongst the effort. And then when you're ready to move towards your high crescent, take a nice deep breath. And slowly step back, high crescent lunge. And make sure your back leg is nice and powerful. Right thigh bone is plugging in, but we're nice and committed to that right side lunge. Okay, for the upper body arms. Right elbow is going to bend. Bring your right fingertips to the space between your shoulder blades. The left hand's going to go to catch right elbow. Front ribs drawing in. Low back is supported. Scooching your elbows back in space. Maybe begin to lift your chin a little bit. You might kind of like lean your head, the back of your skull into right forearm. Ooh, maybe fall over, take a breath. Yeah, the moment you look up, you're going to add an element of balance challenge. When you're ready, start to let your arms release. Hands interlace behind us, left thumb on top. And then take that bind to your left hip pocket, using your right forearm to encourage squareness through your hips. Good. Push your left elbow back. So you can use that clasp of your hand with leverage to push left elbow back towards the back of your yoga mat, and then in towards your right elbow. If you want to, right ear drops towards right shoulder. This tilt of your gaze will also add a little bit of instability, so strong legs. Take a breath. Okay, when you're ready, crown comes upright first, nice and gentle. Arms go back to release. Go through warrior two to your reverse triangle, so all the way up and back. Big breath into your long right side. And exhale, Trikonasana. Press your hips back, so find that bump back of your hips. And then reach down to your right shin bone or maybe your yoga block. As you find the placement for your right hand, can we spiral our rib cage, turning sternum to the sky? You have the option to look up to your left hand if that feels okay. Plug right thigh bone in. Take one breath. Following your breath tempo, as you are ready, inhale to reverse your warrior. Bend into your right knee. Big sweep up and back of your right fingertips. Okay, this time as we windmill down to our high plank, I'm going to take it all the way to the earth. So finding your high plank, big breath in. And that little shift forward, and then exhale to lower, slow and controlled, all the way to the ground. As you arrive, untuck your toes. Inhale, low or high cobra, mostly as a reset and a lengthening. And exhale to release. Okay, we'll climb into our Sphinx pose. You have the option always to stay in your Sphinx. So rooting down, drawing forward. Or we're going to go through our forearm plank into our dolphin this time. If you are ready and you would like to continue on, tuck your toes as you inhale. Exhale, forearm plank, zip up. Pulling your front body to your back body. If you need to adjust your elbows back to shoulder width distance, that tendency is for them to slide wide. Adjust your elbows and start to walk your feet in for your dolphin pose. Good. Now remember that block energy. So imagine a block between your forearm, a block between your biceps, hug to the midline. So imagine you could squeeze the earth together to bring your thumbs and elbows to touch. While hugging in, can you also drive down and forward to press your heart towards your upper thighs? So let your head be heavy, but you're pushing so much that your head is floating above the ground. If you would like to, maybe you inhale to lift your right leg to the sky. And again, keeping your leg long, open your right hip, squeeze from your outer right glute to lift your leg as high as possible. After a breath or so there, go ahead and release your right foot to the earth. Finding second side, inhale, lift your left leg, maybe open your hips, squeeze from your outer glute. After a breath or so, release your left leg. And then as you are ready, soften your knees to the earth. Take a child's pose. Maybe hands sweep back alongside you to reach towards your heels, giving your shoulders a little moment. Breath in and breath out. Okay. This next layer, we're going to add in some different elements for the upper body and for the lower body. But whenever you're ready, we'll meet in a downward facing dog. So, once again, I have too many ideas and we only have so many minutes in an hour, but here we go. From your downward facing dog, please inhale your right leg high. Maybe you find that opening of your hip with a long right leg. Exhale just one time, knee to nose. You're pushing the earth away, maintaining distance between shoulders and ears. As you shift forward, tuck in tight. Hold for your in-breath, and hold, maybe push a little stronger into the earth as you stay for out-breath. Three-legged dog, reach your right leg to the sky with your breath, and then step your right foot forward to the front. Lengthening through both legs, hamstring stretch. If you wanted to do a hovering half split here, keeping your front leg long, you would bend your left knee towards a hover and try to draw length into your spine. Okay? From your hamstring stretch, wherever you are, begin to bend into your front knee. Travel through a standing split just for your inhale. Left leg lifts up any amount. And exhale to bend your knees, stepping through to chair pose. You can always go forward fold first, but we're going to make our way into our chair. Big breath in. Exhale, airplane your arms beside you, perhaps your shoulders shrug. And then lean into your left foot and flamingo your right heel up. Good. From here, let's press into our airplane pose. Nice big breath in. Now listen, as you exhale, you're going to start to bend both knees and bring hands to heart. We're going to rise all the way to stand into our one-legged mountain. So both knees are bending kind of like towards a Shiva squat. And then push through your left foot as you rise into your one-legged mountain. You can keep your right leg lifted, or you can always kickstand right to be toes to the earth. We're going to eagle wrap right arm underneath left. Elbows lifted in line with your shoulders. Scoot your hands forward away from your face. Squeeze your forearms together. Think about pressing your shoulders wide. From here, you can keep or release the eagle arms. We're going back to our airplane legs just for a moment. So maybe you're in an eagle-armed airplane. Wherever you are, take a nice big breath. When you're ready to release, high crescent lunge, sliding your out breath, place your right toes down. Unravel your arms, reach high with an inhale. And your exhale, lean forward to a reaching crescent. So you're reaching at like a 45-degree angle from fingertips to right heel, big breath. On exhale, imagine you're like holding onto a rope. You're going to create fists with your hands. Pull your elbows back as you bend into a little 90-90 lunge. So you're pulling to engage your biceps, your upper back. And we're going to stay for inhale. Stay for exhale. From here, your arms lead the way. Unwind open through to your reverse triangle. So like going through your warrior two all the way to reverse triangle. Breathe into your left side. On your exhale, you're either going to go to your triangle pose or your reaching triangle. So if you wanted this to be a little more strength-oriented, you can stay more at the horizon line, still spiraling your rib cage towards the wall that you are facing, whether you're here or if you're down low. If you're in your reaching triangle, it's not so much about how low you go. You're trying to find that sweet spot where your right side is really active. We're all, no matter where we are in variation, rooting down through our strong right leg. If you're in the reaching triangle and you wanted to add a little more weight to your right obliques, right hand reaches high. Make sure this feels okay for your left leg, through the groin, the knee, everything. From wherever you are, reverse your warrior, bend your left knee. Swim your left hand up and back. We'll exhale through either chaturanga or straight to downward facing dog. So take your flow or skip it. Okay, tuning into second side of this layer with all its variations. I'll inhale, left leg up tall. Exhale, knee towards nose, shoulders out of ears. Pulling front ribs in, thigh high to chest. We hold for inhale. And stay for exhale. Three-legged dog, inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Find length through both of your legs for your hamstring stretch. Or option for keeping your left leg long and bending right knee towards a hover, to that hovering half splits variation. You can always flex left toes to the sky in that as well. Okay. From your hamstring stretch, as you're ready, you're going to bend into your front knee. Breathe into your standing splits just for a moment, nice and gentle. And then exhaling towards our chair pose, bend your knees, core supports your landing. Take a big breath in as you rise. Exhale, airplane arms. Low belly is strong to support low back. Lean into your right foot and flamingo, left heel up and in. From your flamingo, take an in-breath to find your airplane push to lengthen. On your out-breath, you're going to start to bend both knees, bring hands to heart. So you're gathering into this little flamingo chair again, and then push to rise. One-legged mountain. Deep breath helps you up. On your exhale, left knee can stay lifted, or you can kickstand left toes to the earth. We're going to eagle wrap left arm underneath right. Okay, take a moment here. Again, can you lift elbows in line with shoulders? Maybe scoot your hands forward away from your face a little bit. Hugging the arms together, pressing the shoulder blades wide. Maybe you keep your airplane arms. That's going to add a layer of challenge if you want it. As you find airplane legs, you can always choose regular airplane as well, or warrior 3, reaching the hands forward. Big breath in. High crescent with care, slow, strong step down. Unravel your arms, reach high with your in-breath. Reaching crescent, pull your front body in and up as you tilt forward. Take a breath as you reach. Exhale, creating fists with your hands, bicep curl, pull back as you bend your left knee to a hover. Think about squeezing your upper back here, hugging your elbows back and towards each other. Maybe imagine you're like squeezing a yoga block between your elbows behind your back. And then from here, let your arms lead the way, so it's almost like you're going back to that reaching crescent. Peel open through warrior 2, all the way to reverse triangle. And once you're in your reverse triangle, take a breath in. Decide where you'd like to go with this. Either your reaching triangle across the horizon line, checking that there's a lot of integration to the muscles of your right leg and that the right knee is not in hyperextension. Or again, you could go all the way down to the triangle we were in before, that more traditional Trikonasana. If you're in your reaching triangle and you'd like to add in more weight to challenge your left obliques, left hand can go to the sky. From wherever you are, you're going to start to bend into your front knee to reverse your warrior deep breath. On your exhale, windmill down. Find your high plank position. Nice big breath in. And on your breath out, child's pose. Let's go straight to child's pose, just for time. I'm going to take a moment here. Let's start with, if it feels okay in your body, either per hands to the base of your skull or fingertips to shoulder blades. Anchor your elbows down into the earth and drag them isometrically back. Going to stretch your triceps. And then from here, we're going to adjust for rabbit pose. So send your arms long. Adjust your knees so they're more hips distance apart. And then reach back to catch your heels. As your hands cup your heels, think cat spine. So you're going to start to lift your booty, kick down through your shin bones. As you lift your booty, cat your spine, shoulders out of ears, tuck your chin in, and you're trying to bring the crown of your head either to gently rest on the earth, make sure there's space for your neck. I like to hover the crown of my head above the ground. And think about pulling from my hands, pushing my hips up and forward, big cat spine. Chin tucked in. Again, shoulders out of ears. And just gently release and gently roll up to a seat. Maybe a shoulder shrug, or you can again bring your fingertips to your shoulders and do a couple of those big elbow circles in each direction. Okay, let's start to make our way to the back body. So scooching forward to the front of your yoga mat. Start with your knees bent. Heels can flex into the earth already. Bring your hands beneath your shoulders. Fingertips facing your seat. Start to push through your hands and press your heart forward and up, while continuing to use your back body to send your heart forward. So think shoulder blades are like a platter lifting your sternum to the sky. Can you keep that forward action through your torso, but then start to bend your elbows, hugging the elbows to the midline slightly. Can you push your elbows to the back of your yoga mat? So imagine you're trying to create the biggest window you could between the back of your torso and your elbows, like a little window that like a kitty cat could walk through or something. Good. From there, push the earth away, rise up. Reach tall with the breath in, and then use your core to tuck in and slowly, with control, roll and round back to find your way to your back body. Arriving into a full body stretch. Nice deep breath in as you reach. And exhale, bend your knees to find a few windshield wipers side to side to tuck your knees left to right, back and forth. And then adjusting to feet about yoga mat distance apart. Knees are still bent. Just let both knees fall to the left. Finding this staggered pinwheel twist. An option just to let the knees be heavy to your right. Otherwise, you could stack your right ankle on your outer left thigh. That feels okay. That feels good and okay for the joints. Take a breath in and take a breath out. We're going to adjust this to a figure 4. So if you don't have your right ankle stacked on your left thigh, just finding your way to center. So rotate your knees to the sky, right ankle on top of left thigh. If you already have that stack, you can just use your left foot and walk it into hips distance as you rotate that left knee to the sky. However you'd like to find your way into your figure 4. Your right ankle stacked on left thigh. Maybe bring that figure 4 to your body. You can take a little rock from side to side. And then we'll make our way into a little happy baby reset. Actively extend from crown to sitting bones. Maybe a little rock to massage your low back on the earth. And then keeping your knees bent, place your feet down to about yoga mat's distance apart. Both legs are going to drop to the left this time for the staggered pinwheel twist. And you have the option to add in that layer of left ankle on top of right thigh as you take 2 breaths. And from here, just like before, finding your way to your figure 4 left ankle and right thigh. So if you have the ankle stack, we're just going to heel toe that right foot in and use your right foot to square up your hips, adjust. Once you're in your figure four, you can keep your right foot connected to the earth, or maybe bring that whole figure four in close to your body. Perhaps a little sway side to side as you take 1 to 2 more breaths here. Notice if you can kind of melt your collarbones a little bit wider across your chest as well. And then as you start to feel complete in your figure four for now, unwinding your legs, knees to chest, or another moment in a happy baby perhaps. Let's close out with a little bridge moment before our Shavasana. So landing your feet to the earth, nice deep breath in. Your exhale, begin to press your feet, scoop your tailbone forward and up, and then inhale to lift your hips. You find your bridge position, maybe tucking your shoulder blades a little bit closely together behind your heart, finding extra length between shoulders to ears and to crown. Give your bridge perhaps 2 cycles of breath. Also use this little pause to scan through your body to see if there's anything else that you'd like to add in. And then when you are ready to release, we'll start with a nice deep breath here. And then use the entire length of a slow exhale to lower. When your pelvis arrives to your mat, pause for a moment, maybe allow your knees to collapse in to support one another. And starting to release out towards Shavasana unless there's something you would like to add in along the way. Just taking a second to settle, adjust, and eventually land in stillness. Allow your eyes to soften shut if that feels okay. And as we arrive here at the end of our practice, just a moment to feel back into that inner relationship between you, and to notice the inner dialogue, to notice the relationship between you and your body, your physical vessel, and to trust that this noticing is part of that process of growth. Your next exhale, just sigh out and feel yourself drop even deeper. And let go a little bit more. You might make the choice to continue to rest for a couple extra minutes. If you have a lot of space in your day, can you give yourself permission to rest for a little bit or maybe a lot longer? Just acknowledging the importance of balance, of balancing out your effort with time of ease and recovery. to balance out moments of movement with moments of stillness. So there's a lot to learn in both and through each. If you are ready to close practice, and if it feels true to bring your hands to your heart, just inviting hands to heart center. And it's gratitude for this practice, for body and breath, and for the opportunity to go a little bit deeper each day in our process of understanding ourselves, the world around us, and how the two interact and relate. This big breath in through your nose. And a cleansing exhale, just let it go. And may yoga always provide us a path to compassion. And may our practices always serve to teach us. Thanks so much, and namaste.